Yes, good morning to all. My name is Gowri Sankar. Now I going to teach ductile and brittle fracture in material. Let's start with introduction. First one, we're going to see ductile fracture. In ductile fracture, there is a plastic deformation. We know that in plastic deformation, when we apply the shear stress, it gets dislocation of motion, and slip occur. Due to slip, there is a ductile or elongation of material. It requires the minimum stress. Energy absorption is higher in ductile material. In ductile fracture, it warning before failure. In brittle fracture, there is no warning because of it cracks forms or propagate suddenly. So the material get fracture suddenly. So that is known as a brittle fracture. When it comes to ductile fracture, crack speed is less because of there is a less strength. Is less strength, we know that need less record of minimum stress. Example for ductile fracture: mild steel, aluminum, copper. These three material has the ductile fracture or ductile nature. When it comes to graph, y-axis plot stress, that is sigma, and the x-axis mention with strain, that is epsilon. Yes, the graph is going upward and maintain UTS, ultimate tensile stress, on top. This portion we call as strain hardening. It requires high energy or high stress to deform a material. This portion also known as toughness, yes, area under stress strain curve. Endpoint is a failure, material failure. When it comes to specimen, when we applied a tensile stress on specimen, it elongated and form necking. After necking, it reduced the cross-sectional area, that is crack formation. After crack formation, it propagate while applying tensile. Finally, crack length is increased and the material get failure. That appearance look like cup and cone, as I shown here. Next, start with brittle fracture. In brittle fracture, there is the minimum amount of plastic deformation occurred, because there is in a brittle material there is the highest strength. So it form or it crack forms suddenly without warning. Energy absorption is lower in brittle material because there is no elongation in brittle. So the energy absorption is higher, then the material is known as ductile. Crack speed is higher, and also in brittle material there is the highest strength and higher hardness. Example for brittle material is cast iron, glass, ceramic. These three materials are so high strength, so it is easily brittle if you give a large amount of force. The condition for brittle fracture is the lower temperature, less strain rate. These two conditions necessary for brittle fracture. Come to stress strain curve for brittle material. Yes, plot y-axis in stress, that is sigma, and x-axis plot strain, that is epsilon. Yes, that stress is, so the line is go forward and it material get fail within minimum, that is in yield. Yes, brittle material failure shows the two surface, that is the plane surface. Yes, this region is known as resilience. Next, come to the specimen. After applying tensils on it, recover higher strength for attain failure. Appearance like two new surface that is formed here. Next, I going to teach ductile fracture detailing. In type of fracture, there is a pure ductile fracture, brittle fracture. Now we going to see first two, that is pure ductile and ductile fracture. First, pure ductile. In pure ductile, there is pure, there is a elongation is higher in first cases. That is, let's see a specimen. This specimen placed on holder on tensile machine. Then apply a tensile stress on both sides. It gets form a necking. After necking, it reduce the and increase the cracks inside the material and form crack look like a half of cone separated in pure ductile fracture. This whole process undergoes plastic deformation. What are the materials? Example: gold, silver, platinum. These all are example for pure ductile fracture. In pure ductile fracture, fracture occur with minimum plastic deformation before the failure. That is I shown here. That is the tensile stresses occurred minimum. Necking is very large in pure ductile fracture while applying tensile stress, and crack propagation is very slow. Yes, because of pure ductile fracture. Fracture material. Yes, fracture surface is completely fibrous nature. Yes, you seen here that is completely fiber fracture. It doesn't look like a shear region. That out. Example for pure ductile fracture is soft material under tensile load at higher temperature. Yes, apply a tensile force on material, it deform. Due to deform, it slip occurred. After slip form, there is a change or elongation of material. That elongation is limited and it form necking. That necking transferred into separated cone. Move to second type, that is ductile fracture. In ductile fracture, same procedure that followed as before the pure ductile fracture. First, give a tensile force to the material and it elongation. After elongation, it form necking or it create a necking. After necking, there is reaching UTS, ultimate tensile stress. In ultimate tensile stress, it form a necking. After applying further load, gradually, it transformed into fracture point, that is cup and cone. Yes, in ductile fracture, there is a cup and cone fracture. It is a dull in nature. Yes, after failure, that portion is 45 degree to applied load or loading act. Yes, that is I shown here. Here is the lower cup. It look like a cup. In upper portion, there is, when we see in normal eyes, there is not proper reflect. So it is known as dull or grayish. Below fracture, there is not plain surface. And when we see a normal eyes, there is refraction, not a reflect. So we couldn't see clearly. And these are all several stages in a ductile fracture. First one, that is applied UTS, ultimate tensile stress. It reduces cross-sectional area, that is here. Then micro voids formed inside when apply a tensile load further. Then micro voids are formed or close each other to form a crack. That is, the crack grows 90 degree to applied stress. The crack grows 45 degree maximum shear stress. Along the crack is formed perpendicular to the loading direction or pulling up. Finally, material gets fractured. That is, look like a fibrous, as I shown here. Due to there is a shear stress, it formed a rough surface on failure place. It looked like a cup and cone fracture. These several stages followed by ductile fracture. A glance of ductile fracture step by step are also known as evaluation of failure when we apply a uniaxial tensile load, as I shown here. These are all several stages or several appearances after applying a load. Let's see one by one. First image sees that material is loaded in tensile machines, which is small necking is formed. Then see a second image, that is shows that small voids will nucleate as keep on increasing a load. These are all small voids. Comes to third image, shows that small voids come closer together, form as keep on increasing a load, come closer together, void linking of voids. Then move to the fourth image. As we keep on increasing a further load, there will be shearing at the surface. This is a portion that load and shearing. Material get failure after applying further load. This is the final. It look like a cup and cone. Next, move to the micrograph that I shown here is the nucleation inside material. That small particle or nucleation present on the surface. This particle serves as a void nucleation. These voids will multiply as you go on increasing a load. That is, I said before, voids are linking or form together and form a crack. Finally, ductile failure appears as a cup and cone failure. So these several steps are followed by ductile fracture. Thanks for your attention.